Welcome to Remarkable Realities, the podcast where we interview ordinary people doing remarkable things. My name's Dom.
My name's Luke.
And today, we haven't got anyone in the studio today or joining us online. So what we've decided to do today is our first episode. You excited to do our first episode? It's cool, isn't it? We've got the studio now. We've got a whole host of guests lined up. Who's the one you're really looking forward to seeing on or having on?
Cool. So for me, someone like James Mooney. He's a local guy from Devon, and he went on a 630-mile walk with his son around the Southwest Coast Path last summer. Really excited to get him on to discuss, the things of just the dynamic of a father and son relationship on such a walk. And
James has agreed, hasn't he?
James has agreed.
His son hasn't agreed.
Not yet. Hopefully he'll be on to tell us, the son side of the thing. He's quite young, so it'll be quite interesting to see his views on the Southwest Coast Path.
One I'm excited about, because it's so unusual, the lady that's going to Trinidad to help the albino children.
Yes.
I'd never come across this, and we're not going to mention this one today, so I will give you a little preview. We've got a young lady coming on she's a registered nurse at the moment here for the NHS, and she's leaving that job to go to, I believe it's Trinidad, I could be wrong, to help children that are albino children, specifically having their limbs amputated illegally and brutally to make magic medicine. I had never heard of anything like that. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't. It's
insane.
It's
and she's been over once already. She's going back now to do full-time work. So I'm really keen to understand and share a bit more about that. And then the other one that I just cannot wait for is Irvin's Lens. He's just this incredible man who has an incredible skill with a camera, and he's a wordsmith as well. And putting the two together, he just makes these beautiful panoramic videos of all of these places in Europe. And he's agreed to come on. It will be remotely, but I can't wait to have a chat with him. I've been following him for a long time. But we've got 8 to talk about today.
We do.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah. I've already mentioned one of mine,
okay.
James.
Oh, so one of the ones you're going to mention today. Fabulous.
So we're down to 7 now.
We're down to 7. Okay. My first one for today's episode is, and all of the details of everyone featured in today's episode will be in the description, or we'll pin a comment. That'll make it easier for people to find. Their Instagram, their Facebook, whatever social they use the most will pop up. So my first one is an Instagram lady called This Girl Adventures. The first words on her page are adventure obsessed, ex-RAF aircraft engineer, always exploring. This account is run by a wonderful woman called Harry. Her page is filled with personal development content, insanely well-crafted videos and short reels, I think they're called on Instagram, aren't they? But what I love most is she is unapologetically confident in just the way she presents herself. She's an amazing person, paddleboarding, hiking, fairy pools, wild swimming, snowboarding, climbing. There is nothing this woman does not have a go at. And that is what's remarkable about her to me. Besides all of that, she's a mum, and her page reminds me constantly that we all get the same 24 hours, and what we do with that 24 hours is largely, not always, it is a choice. And she sort of boosts me on to get out there. It makes me feel slightly guilty sometimes when I haven't done what I feel is quite enough.
Yeah, she sounds really interesting. It's someone I'm not aware of. I'm not fully in that circle of outdoor explorer adventurers. I know one, the optimistic adventurer. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting, the story that I've been told so far, and can't wait to hear more.
Interestingly, when I was researching her for today, one of her posts says about how being in this small, I can't remember her exact words, but since she's joined the adventure community, just saying how lovely she's found that actual community, warm, welcoming.
Yeah,
she's a great lady. Really, I'd love to have her on. She lives in Scotland, so probably remotely. I'm in Scotland this summer, Harry. If you would like to do an ad hoc podcast, maybe next to that giant slate boulder that you posted today, just have a look at her channel.
She sounds amazing. So someone I want to get on the podcast is a world champion, a 5-time world champion at that, and a world record holder. He is the world record holder and the 5-time world champion for bog snorkeling. Do you know bog snorkeling?
I don't know it intimately, but I have seen it on TV. Go on, explain a bit more.
So for people who don't know, World Bog Snorkeling Championships are held in Wales every year, and basically what people do, they travel all over the world to this little town village, and they have to do a 120-yard peat bog. They got to go up and down it in the quickest time
So
possible.
is it swimming?
Snorkeling, bog snorkeling. So they can wear flippers and they can wear a snorkel mask.
In mud?
In a bog. So yeah, you've been on Dartmoor. Dartmoor is close to where we're based, and you've probably walked through a bog or two.
Yeah, I can't imagine snorkeling.
Exactly.
So the world champion.
So the world champion. So I've not mentioned his name yet. So his name is Neil, and he is, like I say, 5-time world champion. And I just love to get him on and have a chat about why. What drove him to become a bog snorkeler in the first place? And I think, we touched on it a little bit earlier. You're the optimistic adventurer. You have a YouTube channel. You need content. We need to go to Wales in August. We need to enter you. And I think he can help you.
Oh, I've got a pretty stacked up August. I'm doing Hadrian's Wall, Scotland.
We can fit it in.
Maybe find a local bog. We'll
build our way up to the world championship.
Walk before we can run.
Perfect.
And I'd love to know the why and how. How do you get into that? How do you even think, I know what I'll do today. I'll go and have a go at bog snorkeling. My next guy is just the most wholesome, beautiful human. I love this guy. I followed him for about 4 years on Instagram. And his Instagram tag, what do they call it? Handle. Instagram handle is Combat Franpa. There's a clue in the name. I don't know his real name. I chat to him through message occasionally, and I asked him today if he was happy to be on, and he said he was. He's a man of vintage years, in his 60s, it says on his profile, who he joined the Royal Commandos in 1976. Today, unfortunately, he's recovering from something I've never heard of, but he's shared the bruises and his hospital journey. Rectus sheath hematoma, huge bruise, and I don't really understand what it is, but he does explain it on his page. This guy in his 60s, with his Commando rucksack on, goes out for his morning rucks every day. He's an absolutely devoted grandfather, which I love about his page.
Happy Easter Monday, everybody, and happy 1st of April. Just finished a 7-kilometre ruck. Special day for me today, because 46 years ago I did the best thing in my life, married my best friend and the love of my life. So 46 years married, 3 lovely kids and some lovely grandchildren. Have a blessed day, everybody.
But what makes him remarkable, and why I chose him for this, out of all of the people I follow on my Instagram, was the unusual ways in which he exercises for a man of his age. He's going to jump. He's going to fly in now, and it's, wait, what are you doing? So you'll see this guy with a giant 15-pound mace, so a huge, great metal pole with a huge, great metal ball on it, and he's swinging it around in his garden. It's a fitness thing. Does the same with an axe. The guy is just incredible. He's who I aspire to be at that age, being that physically able and mentally determined. And obviously that's something that's come from being a commando.
Yeah.
No, I just love watching him. So he's got determination, remarkable amount of energy, unusual training methods, wonderful family man. Just the posts, it's just so warm and wholesome how he talks about his grandchildren. So that's my number 2. Great guy.
Sounds amazing.
Who's your number 2?
So I've got a bit of a curveball for you.
Oh, I like a curveball.
Yeah. And you also like food.
Yeah.
As do I. So the next guys I would like to get on are, they're called We Built a Restaurant Exeter on Instagram, and they have a restaurant called Pop Exeter. So their story is remarkable, pardon the pun. There's a lot of ups and downs. I don't want to share too much into it because hopefully they will come on and share their story. But they were working on one project and for some reason it got stopped. and then they had to adjust and come up with a plan B, and that's been successful. And I just think it'd be quite nice to see the ins and outs of what it takes to start a restaurant, because I can't see it being an easy thing to do.
No, certainly not.
So yeah, and I think
Not in today's world.
No.
So you've given us some clue. I don't know. So they started something.
So they had an initial plan, and then through a reason, which I will not want to say now because I feel it's their story to tell. It didn't happen, and then they say they've now have a location. They're up and running. Their food looks amazing, and yeah, I just think it's a really nice story arc of their success and their journey. Who's your next one? Who you want to get on?
So my next one is a guy called Marcus Greatwood. Now Marcus is part of a club called No Tanks. It's a free diving school based in the UK, in the southeast. But looking at his page, you are instantly transported into another world, an amazing underwater paradise that most feel, certainly I do, out of reach. But their mantra is learn, improve, explore. And I just love that straight away. You go and jump onto their page, learn, improve, explore. His Instagram page is just beautiful. The places they go, mainly they do lots and lots in the UK, but they do trips and courses abroad as well. And what I loved when I had a look at their website is anyone can have a go. In the pool, they'll teach you the techniques. Something they put, something on their website, on their courses page, which again I loved. A free diver doesn't hold their breath, but rather pauses to enjoy it. We must learn to be comfortable and enjoy the unique pleasure of the moment. And I just thought, wow. They're scooting through, no tanks, hence the name, huge great flippers, goggles on, and they're going through shipwrecks and old planes that are in lakes, cars that are in the quarries in Wales. It just looks absolutely incredible. Just today, actually, one of their posts today was ascending into a cave. It was not in this country. Ascending into a cave, caving for a little bit, and then finding this absolutely emerald green but crystal clear pool. It just looked amazing. From Welsh mines to Greek islands to huge tanks and pods all over the world. There's literally something for everyone on his page. No Tanks is the club, and they run out of Colchester, Kensington, Brighton, lots of places sort of southeast, a fair way from here. So one of the things they say is we're not just about times and locations. So they're not it's not like, oh, you can hold your breath for 4 minutes, you can come in. They teach you techniques and that bit where they said about learning to enjoy the moment. I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing it's learning relaxation techniques and just slowing everything down. Because if I came across a seal, my heart rate would instantly, or a conger eel.
Mine does on a paddleboard or a kayak. If I see one, I'm like...
And of course, your heart rate increases. That's you using up all that oxygen. So staying calm in dangerous, unusual situations, that's a skill. That's a skill I'd like to have a go at. And Marcus very kindly a while ago offered to take me on a day's training, and I didn't take him up on it because it was soon after Dom died and it was the wrong time. But Marcus, if you stumble across this podcast and that offer still stands, I'd love to give it a go. So that's 3 of my 5. Feels good to be started. This was an idea in. You said start a podcast.
I told you to start a podcast about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I felt that you're a very good storyteller, and you like to talk a lot. And yeah, I just felt you had a community and where you could share your stories.
And now we're going to make a new one.
Now we're going to make a new community, yes.
And it's not an idea anymore. We're in it. We're sat in that idea. And that's something I love about this sort of thing. Something in there is now out here.
The initial, to let people behind the initial conversation I still remember, we were running at Holden.
Yeah.
And I said to you, between breathing heavily, have you thought about starting a podcast? Because you can call it the OAP podcast,
which I hate,
the Optimistic Adventurer podcast, and that's for 2 reasons. I said, do you remember what one of the reasons? One of the reasons was because you're the Optimistic Adventurer and it's your podcast. Can you remember why I said the other one?
OAP. No,
it's because you're old as fuck. And it literally stemmed from that. Me just.
I don't even know how old you are. I'm 46.
I'm younger. I'm 36.
Yeah.
But that's where it comes from. That run. Remember the two very fit people ahead of us up the hill.
Yeah, waiting for us at the top of the hill.
And so and now we're here.
And I've got two more. I've already briefly spoke about one of the future guests, Irvin, and I'm going to give you a little bit more on him in a minute. But my fourth one, and this lady's story is just incredible, and I hope she doesn't mind me sort of sharing this story. It is on her page. She's got a huge following on social media. Her Instagram tag handle is Helena Hikes. Road trips, sunsets, and sea dips is her 3 words on the top of her profile, and she absolutely lives up to that. What I love about her page is not only it's aesthetically wonderful, but she highlights places that anyone can get to, or most people can get to. They're very, very accessible places that are just out there that nobody's heard of them. Her story, and this is why I think she's remarkable, and I'd love her to come on. But she's got a massive following, and she might not come on to a brand new podcast, episode 1, 2, 3, whatever. In short, her life turned upside down in 2001 when she got a diagnosis of myalgic encephalomyelitis. Now, I don't know what that is, but the associated symptoms of that caused depression and anxiety, and that lasted for 20 years. In 2021, she started to feel a bit better, and a 1-mile hike became a 3-mile hike, became a 5-mile hike, became a mountain, figuratively and literally. And from there on in, she's flying on social media. She posts almost every day. They're always on the same thread: adventure, activity, getting out, being positive. One of the things I loved about her posts, and her videos are just incredible, is when you see them and you're like, I need to go to that place. She doesn't share her locations, and lots of outdoor people are like that. Do you follow people that you think, I'd love to know where that is, but they don't share?
Yeah.
And I get it, because if you share these locations, some of them get ruined. Certainly some of her locations that are quite accessible and like a 2-mile walk. So I totally understand that, but with a little bit of Google map searching, a little bit of detective work, you can often find out where those places are.
So does she? Because she's based in Dorset, an area I know quite well. Used to live there for a number of years. Is it solely Dorset, or she venture over the border down to Devon?
Well, she's been abroad recently, and she finds great places abroad. I would say it's mostly Dorset, and Dorset's a big county. There's lots of coastline, lots of areas, and it's not just Durdledore and Warhammer Bay and Lulworth Cove. She finds the really great spots that, as I said earlier, you just don't really know are there. Helena, if you stumble across this podcast, you gave me the heads up for that amazing pirate cave, Bacon Hole. Soon after Dom died, that Bacon Hole was a place that I went to 3 times in a 6-week period. Just sat there, had a fire, had a swim, took a friend there, me and him had a swim, had some lunch. It's just amazing. And to explore that genuine pirate cave.
So yeah, she sounds really interesting. Can we just circle back to Irvin's lens? You mentioned him earlier.
Yes, yeah. Bit of a man crush here. He's you've mentioned it a couple of times. I've got my channel, The Optimistic Adventurer, which I've been posting on for a couple of years. And Irvin he's sort of up here, videographer, photographer, storyteller. And almost from day one, he's been coming on the channel and posting encouraging comments and just keep going, well done, love the composition, just a wonderful encouragement right from day one. Thank you, Irvin. Irvin is a photographer, content creator. He's based in Sweden. He specialises in solo hiking in regions that not many people go to. And what I love about his content is there's one in particular where he's just sat on this makeshift table, the mountains behind him, just incredible. And he's got an older local lady he's having tea with her or something. and you can just tell he's absolutely made her day. The voiceovers he does for his videos are he's a real wordsmith. He draws you in, and when I watch his films, I come away thinking or feeling more. I come away feeling that I've been on that hike with him. It's drone footage. First, he just, the way he stitches all the different elements of a good video together is it's inspirational. It's fabulous. He's shooting a music video at the moment for 15 days, but he's agreed to come on the show, and
Perfect.
can't wait to have him on to find out a little bit more about the man behind the camera.
Brilliant. So yeah, so there you go, guys. First podcast done, dusted, soon to be edited and posted. Like I say, we've mentioned the guests, some confirmed, some we'd love to have. Please follow them, subscribe to their channels if you check them out. Put a post in their comments, say get on the podcast, share your story, and soon we'll have ordinary people sharing their remarkable stories.
Thanks ever so much. See you next time.
Thank you.